Are you looking for a $50,000 full-size off-road truck? Well, behind me I have two examples, the Titan and the Tundra, but not just any Titan and Tundra. This is a 2019 Tundra TRD Pro and the 2019 Titan Pro-4X, the most off-road worthy versions of each truck. And I'm here in Texas near Huntsville at an off-road park to compare the two in a test of crossing mud, ground clearance, articulation, of course approach and departure angles, and a hill climb. Check this out. Alright, here I am in the Tundra TRD Pro, and the first part of this course is a little quick section. So this is where I find out how good those Fox shocks behave. I'm in 4-low. I'm gonna do this entire course in 4-low in both trucks and see how it goes. Oh yeah, you could hear some of the mud being flung from the tires. That's one thing. I wish this truck had a little bit more aggressive tire, but let's see how it behaves on this muddy course. Most of these challenges actually include mud and dirt. There's not much rock crawling today, but it's a really good test of both shocks, articulation, and of course a little bit of water fording as well. One thing about the Tundra is these Fox shocks and the suspension they've set up for 2019, it just works really well. Now this truck has a manufacturer listed 10.6 inches of ground clearance, which should be good. Here's a little side tilt. Not too bad. It's kind of a 2-track. This truck does not have the best crawl ratio of the half-ton off-road truck segment, but it's still pretty good. Modulation, I wish there was a little bit better crawl ratio so you can modulate the throttle a little bit smoother, but once you get used to it, it's just fine. Great. Now the articulation section is next. There's a bit of a ditch here, so I need to cross it kind of at an angle. Okay, the approach angle is fine. Breakover, fine. Departure, okay. Alright, here's the quick section in the Titan Pro-4X. You could hear the mud kind of falling away from the tire. This truck is riding on generals. I kind of wish this truck also had a little bit of a more aggressive tire. And here's the first obstacle. It's a bit of a drop and then kind of a side tilt climb. So I'm gonna take it slowly. I'm in 4-low and I'm gonna engage my rear locker. It's a selectable locker and I can engage it at slower speeds. There's a little indicator. Let me climb this sideways tilt. Steady pace. Actually, I feel like I can modulate the throttle pretty well. No touching there. Alright, so now is the mud hole. That's not too deep. That's actually all right. pretty good traction. Now it's a little bit of an articulation test. On paper, the Titan doesn't have super great specs. It still has 10.6 inches of ground clearance in the front, which is really good for the segment, but about 9.8 inches in the back, and that's basically with a differential. According to the specs, the TRD Pro Tundra has a really good approach angle, 31 degrees. Departure angle though listed 17 degrees. It's not great and has to do with the hitch, of course, but it does have obviously low transfer case, which I'm using, and also it has about a 1-inch lift in the front at least for better clearance. Let me show you the underneath of the truck. And there are a few skid plates, especially for the fuel tank, which is very important. Finally, here's where we're testing hill climbing ability. And actually the TRD Pro Tundra only kind of comes one way. You're getting a 5.7 liter iForce V8, 381 horsepower, 401 pound-feet of torque. You're getting a 6-speed automatic. You're actually getting a bigger fuel tank, 38 gallons, which is great. The fuel economy on this truck is not listed highly. I mean, it's one of the lower one in the half-ton segment, but that big tank helps a lot, so you can get some range. 31 degrees of approach, about 17 degrees of departure, and I'm testing it all right here, right now. Let's see if it's gonna touch. So far good. Those were the brakes. I didn't touch in the front. Didn't touch in the back. Let's see how the powertrain works. Ah, that exhaust. Really sweet sounding V8. The Tundra did really good. Now we're coming up to the sort of down and up hill climb, and on paper the Titan actually has one of the worst approach angles, 22.8, and pretty good actually 23-degree departure angle in the back. So there's a big skid plate in the front, much like the Tundra TRD Pro that also has a big skid plate. This truck also has some tech. Hill descent control. You can kind of hear it right there descending. And there's also hill start assist. So if you actually stop on an incline like this, you actually have a couple of seconds to switch to the gas pedal and get going, and it makes you just feel comfortable. You're not rolling backwards. I'm trying to take exact same line that I was taking with the other trucks. Going very slowly. No touching. So still good enough clearance to clear that difficult approach. The way you see these two trucks configured right here, they're just over $50,000 with all the options. But at the $50,000 level, you can still buy these trucks. And this is a close call. At the end of the day, I will choose the Tundra TRD Pro in this particular test here in Texas because of the suspension setup. Both of these trucks have really good pluses. The Titan offers you a selectable locker. It also has hill descent control, hill start assist. It feels a little bit more high tech, but the suspension setup with Fox shocks I think is superior in this Tundra, and it's such a close call. Both trucks did really well on this course, but that's my take on it. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and go back to TFLtruck.com for more news, views, and real-world truck reviews from Texas.